Selection Sunday is here, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, March 14th. This is the Dauster, T.O. and Fanta podcast. We have a bracket, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rob Dauster. I have with me my cohorts, my partners in crime in New York City, the one and only John Fanta, who we now have to call Red Panda's assistant officially, and my man Terrence Oglesby, Coach T.O., aka the Rifleman, BKA the man that never sleeps. Guys, what's going on? We survived New York City. We did it. We survived. We came back in one piece.
Barely. And for those who don't already know this, and you probably should, stay away from the airport hummus. That is not a move. So don't do that. But after 45 minutes of sleep, after the Barclays fiasco, which was awesome, by the way, I enjoyed the heck out of the entire week.
So hold on. Tell people why you only had 45 minutes of sleep, because this is one of my favorite stories of all time.
Well, we forgot all about the time change, which was the big thing. So I booked my flight at 7 a.m. getting out of Newark, just simply because told me
on Sunday morning, right? On
Selection Sunday morning, because obviously we're going to watch games that afternoon. You told me to get home early so that I could be on a show, which coincidentally ended up at 8 o'clock. So I got home early so I could watch some games, or I tried to. So we get done at 1:30. We get in the cab. We get back about 1:55. I have to pack, which doesn't take all that long, but I have suits and things. So I have to pack. I looked back down at my phone. It's 1:58. And then I turn around, I zipped up my bag. I look back at my bag and it's 3 a.m. So then I have to catch a cab at 5. And by the time I brush my teeth and lay down, it's 3:30-ish. So I set my alarm for 4:30. Couldn't fall asleep, end up getting, because, then you're worried that you're going to miss the flight, right? Like, that's the big deal. So then I wake up, I take the cab all the way to Newark, or not the cab, whatever, Uber, what have you. And then the flight attendants didn't forget to set their alarm an hour early. So we're delayed an hour. And then I get to Atlanta. I miss my connection. My wife has to drive down, come get me, drive back up. We have to drive an hour past my house in order to get my car, drive back, get back, and then watch the final of the Big Ten, watch selection show. And then accidentally fell asleep for a little bit. I think it ended up being 15 or 20 minutes. My wife wakes me up. She goes, "You got a show?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I do." And then started walking downstairs, and we got busy. We got the show done. I was not drunk. I was drinking LaCroix, but it felt drunk because I was so tired. And a lot of people see double. I was hearing double, but it was an adventure. We got it done. And man, it ended up being a great 6 hours that you guys put together, Rob. And our hour in particular was a lot of fun, because every time I would look up at the screen when I was saying something, I would just see Randolph Childress just shaking his head no. Like, every single second of the show, he just was disagreeing with everything I had to say. And then obviously Sean Paul gets thrown into the mix, who is a mid-major genius, which was a lot of fun. And then Rob obviously putting the whole thing together, man, it was a tremendous 6 hours or what have you. I mean, awesome stuff. Just fun to be a part of the whole thing. I sometimes I have to pinch myself because I can't believe it, just because I saw the picture of us all, Fanta, you and myself and Archie and Sean and all that stuff. And it's like, man, what a 6 hours with all these guys, plus heat check and sleepers and God knows who else. Like, it's just an awesome thing. It was an awesome thing to be around. I think it performed pretty well, so that's good too.
Yeah, we did really good numbers, better than I thought we were going to do. And I'll say this: the grind from waking up on Thursday morning to head up to the Big East tournament. We did 2 live shows, courtside on the floor of Madison Square Garden, which had some technical difficulties, which we'll talk about in a second, Fanta. And then Saturday night, the Barclays into the Selection Sunday live show was it was a grind. I think I probably slept about 15 hours total over the course of the last 4 days. But it was worth it, man. It was everything that we do this for. Fanta, before I start talking about UConn being back in the Big East, because I know no one's going to want to say that, you are the Big East guy. You were on the floor. You were on the big screen. There were 2 things that stood out to me from the Big East tournament. One, you got to throw the bowls to Red Panda. And for people that don't know who Red Panda is, just Google it. I'm not going to sit here and explain it to you. Just Google it. And two, there was one point when Seton Hall played UConn when they showed your face on the jumbotron, and it said Seton Hall alum John Fanta, and there was mild applause, and then they pan over one seat and they zoom in on Jim Calhoun's face and they say Hall of Fame head coach, and the place goes absolutely nuts. And I was like, that's what we're doing now. We're comparing John Fanta to Jim Calhoun. Okay, I see you, Fanta. But talk to me about being back in that building, fans back in that building, the Big East tournament. It felt right, man. It just felt right.
There's nothing better than the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden during championship week. And some out there may say, well, that's a biased take right on the hopper. No, it's true. And if you step into that building during that week, you know what I am talking about. And Rob and Terrence, you both were there. The roars. Oh, God. So Jeff Goodman is calling Terrence Oglesby as we're doing our podcast, which you should have taken the call so we could hear how ridiculous, whatever it is that he's ready to get into. I would have enjoyed that. Having said this, what a great week in New York. It was electricity personified, and it was the Big East hosting their tournament and the ACC hosting their tournament out in Brooklyn, which had a dramatic ending with Virginia Tech winning that tournament. But in the Big East, you had a situation where, oh my God, you should take the call. I'd like to listen to whatever he has to say. I hope
pick it up now.
Yeah.
No, there's no way. I just texted him. We're trying to work here, Goodman. So go ahead. Keep talking.
Unbelievable.
Keep talking Big East, Fanta.
Unbelievable. So on Thursday, you walk into the building and you're thinking this could be a really interesting day. Providence is playing Butler. Creighton's playing Marquette. Villanova's playing St. John's. Seton Hall's playing UConn. And guys, it was like 12 hours of nonstop energy. Non-stop. The building was full at 11:55. It never emptied out. So I'll tell you, at high noon, for Butler to give Providence an amazing game, Providence escapes with some late heroics like they have all season. We'll get to them in their NCAA tournament situation. And then Creighton was the most impressive team of the week in this tournament. And they're going to play San Diego State down in Fort Worth. The winner is going to get Kansas. Obviously, that's a tough draw. But by the same token, I think Creighton showed us something to remember, that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with next season. But at the end of the day, Jay Wright and Villanova just keep winning. They're down 17 points. They're down 17 points in the second half to St. John's. 17. And never once did I think they would lose. And that's how good of a program they are. Like, they just have this New England Patriots vibe, as Vin Parisi said. You can never count them out. The moment you doubt them, they're going to overcome it. And I got to tell you guys, I think the committee reflected it in where they put them and what they did. Villanova in the South. I was told by multiple people that Villanova didn't even want to be in the East and play at Wells Fargo. They didn't like the pressure there. Jim Calhoun said he never liked playing in the East because UConn fans were so crazy. He would feel the pressure. He'd feel stressful when his fans would come if they were close. So they're going to be in the South region. They get a 2 seed. And I think that the committee gave them a pretty nice draw overall. I mean, I don't see them having any troubles with Delaware. I don't trust Ohio State, and I don't trust Loyola Chicago as much as I have in other years. So to me, it's shown by the committee, and it's shown just nationally. Like, guys, that was the 5th time. That's now five times that Villanova's won the Big East tournament since 2015. It's just a wild run of success. And they're kind of boring, and people, it's not the most interesting program to cover because their answers are very Patriots-like. But damn, you have to give mad respect to who they are, and you have to say that they are one of the best programs. And I believe they've become a blue blood in the sport. The television ratings reflect it, and they reflect it. And the blue blood rose again, even in a really tough year in the Big East Conference.
Yeah, it was great to be back in that building with fans, right? It's been, I said this the other day, it's been 10 years since UConn played in a Big East tournament game with fans in that building. 10 years. They left the league in 2014. In 2013, they were ineligible for all postseasons. In 2021, there was no fans in the building. It's been 10 years. And I think you felt that energy from UConn fans. I think you felt that energy and that buzz from Providence fans who were experiencing their first Big East tournament as the favorite, as the number one overall seed. Villanova is always going to show up. Creighton had a better showing of fans in that city than I expected them to have. Seton Hall and St. John's are going to have people there, so it's a tradition when it comes to going to the Big East tournament. And if you've never been, I just hope people realize, like, there's bars that each team goes to, right? You have your specific bars. For UConn, it's Legends. For Providence, it's Jack Dempsey's right down the street. For Marquette fans, it's Mustang. I think it's Mustang Sally's.
Yep.
But there's something special about that event, about
Mustang
going to
Harry's.
the Biggest tournament. Mustang Harry's. There's like 3 Mustangs something or others by the garden.
Yeah.
But
DePaul goes to Mustang Sally's.
Yeah, there you go. So it's just everybody has their spot that they go to. Everyone has their traditions. You go to your hotels. You know which restaurants you want to be at. It's special, man. And it was great to be back in that building. It was great to feel that environment. It was great to feel the energy from fans again. And I don't know if that's just the fact of basically not really being at games for almost 2 years now. But it was just this is what we cover the sport for. This is why we do it. And I do think that it also kind of made me more appreciative that we were able to do it from this thing that we've built and do it despite the fact that we had some crazy technical issues, man. The echo on the first show that we did, the mics dying on the Saturday night show. We find a way to get it done. You could throw anything at us and we're going to find a way to get it done. And I hope people that listened enjoyed it. I cannot wait for us to keep growing this thing and we can laugh about how the first time we ever did shows, we did it with a digital camera and our own tripod with no lights, handing a mic back and forth, fighting with it
with the tripod standing on 3 chairs that we had to find and put down, which was awesome.
There's nothing like it, man.
Oh, the one mic, that
actually worked in our favor, I thought. But between us 3 kind of bickering back and forth and say like, I want the mic. No, I want the mic. We had the Torvik conversation and all that stuff. Hey, to kind of expand on your point about the Big East, I've never been to a Big East tournament, and how fun is that environment? The trash talk, all the schools kind of being from the same location. If you take away some of these Midwest schools, and it makes for a completely different environment than any other conference tournament I've ever been to. I've been to SEC when I was in high school. Obviously, I've been to several ACC tournaments, and then the banter between the fans, and yet there was a hostility, but at the same time enough, and I say enough very fragilely, enough respect between the fan bases to where like we didn't have to worry about something crazy going on. But it was great. There were guys behind me, Fantas, calling Gillespie Giuseppe Gretzky, like they refused to acknowledge him by his actual name. And I thought it just added so much to there was hate, but there was also respect, and it was so much fun. The energy in Madison Square Garden is second to none. Especially now, I went to Champions Classic, very different. Very, very different between that and the Big East tournament, and it just awesome stuff.
Yeah, the one last thing that I'll say is that I made it 2 games at the ACC tournament. Of course, one of them was the title game, and it got loud in big moments. But there's a buzz in the Garden, Fanta. You can attest to this. There is a buzz in the Garden when you have a big game there, and there just is no buzz for Duke Virginia Tech at the Barclays Center. No. Now, I want to be very clear. There was a good Virginia Tech showing in that building. After they beat Duke and they played Enter Sandman over the loudspeakers, and everybody in that building started singing along with the song and jumping around at the chorus, like that was awesome. I got a video of it. I got chills. Like that was unbelievable. But it's still very, very different than what you get at the Big East tournament. Fanta, you got 1 minute to make your point, and then we're going to start breaking down the bracket.
It is. It's the regional tournament in the Northeast that brings everybody together, and you get those roars. There are specific roars to Madison Square Garden. And for the Villanova UConn game, they were happening all night long. I actually thought that Friday night in that building showed why UConn coming back to the Big East was a no-brainer, because I think it brought the best out of Villanova fans. Villanova fans haven't had to work the way they had to work on Friday night for their team. And early in the game, when Connecticut was hitting big shots, it was loud, really loud. They had it going, and Dan Hurley was getting that crowd. Dan Hurley was at half court.
Yeah.
This to his crowd, and his crowd's responding.
He was trying to get another technical is what he was trying to do.
Sure.
But out of the game.
I thought as the game went on, Villanova fans really got into it, and you heard them in full force. And this meant something to Villanova because I think that early in the season, they started the season 7-4, and there were a lot of doubts about them. I think we all thought, oh, okay, I don't know how good they are. Well, the fact is the committee thinks they're one of the 8 best teams in the country. And what Jay Wright's been able to do as the season's gone on is really special. So the roars of the building were awesome, awesome, awesome. It was so great to have the Big East tournament at MSG. And somebody told me if this broadcasting team does not work out, I can just go on tour with Red Panda for the rest of my life. And if that has to happen, I will, because tossing bowls to the legend was absolutely outstanding. And she could not be nicer. I enjoyed every second of that. She's the best halftime act there is. It was a privilege, Red. A privilege.
Hey, there might be one better, and it was the dude with the Chihuahua doing.
Stop it!
Come on, Terrence.
Listen,
man.
Stop it! He was terrific.
Stop.
That guy was awesome.
With a Chihuahua?
He had a Chihuahua.
What was he doing?
Just
listen.
He was just out there at half court being great. That's what he was doing.
Oh, come on.
I want to apologize to everyone for these awful takes that Tio is having today. He still has not slept, apparently.
She's on a unicycle. She's got bowls. She goes around the court. It's amazing.
Yeah. She's good. Kung Fu Fanta and the Red Panda World Tour. I like the way that sounds.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the bracket, guys. I want to start with the West. Here's what we're going to do it a little bit differently, since yesterday all three of us gave our real takes and kind of broke down region by region. We have 3 topics that we're going to do for each one of these. But I want to do your upsets. I want to get your favorite matchups that you have to root for, and the one player that you are keeping your eye on that you think could be the Steph Curry or Kemba Walker or the game-changing guy from one of these regions that you need to watch. So we'll start with the West. Fanta, who is your upset pick? Field of 68 Selection Sunday extravaganza will return in just a minute. While we wait, let me tell you guys about our partners over at BracketFanatics.com, the single best website on the internet for you to use to host an NCAA tournament pool for you, for your friends, for your coworkers, and for anyone else that is willing to dive headlong into the madness with you. Why? Well, Bracket Fanatics provides a bracket experience unlike any other. How? Bracket Fanatics is similar to Yahoo and ESPN in the sense that you can invite friends, make picks, and watch those picks go up in flames as the tournament moves along. But what sets Bracket Fanatics apart from the field is that they eliminate the single hardest part of running a pool, the payouts. Everyone that joins your pool must pay an entry fee on the site. Once the tournament ends, Bracket Fanatics will handle the payouts for you based on whatever parameters it is that you set. You don't have to worry about chasing down someone like a Jeff Goodman who loves to try and avoid paying his buy-in, whether it's fantasy football, whether it's NCAA tournaments, whatever it is, Jeff will try to duck out. Bracket Fanatics eliminates that problem. And you can also make side bets all tournament long. Who doesn't love a good side bet? Your bracket may be busted, but I promise you can make it all back once John Fanta's ego starts to get a little bit too big for his britches after he has a great first day of the tournament. So head on over to bracketfanatics.com, join the Field of 68's bracket group. The link is in the description below, or use the code FIELD once you sign up. It is free to enter and it's free to host your own pool. So sign up today. I don't know why you wouldn't. And while I got you here, let's talk a little bit about Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up yet, Bet Rivers is the place to go. It is the middle of March Madness, the single greatest week in the history of weeks to bet on sports. Bet Rivers is offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets Bet Rivers apart from all those other books is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, it's more secure, and it is more reliable. I know, I use them. Bet Rivers is also running promotion all week long where you can earn as much as $10,000 in bonus prize money. Here is how it works. There are 10 tasks that you need to complete throughout the tournament. For the first weekend, 3 the second weekend, and 3 on Final Four weekend. To complete a task, all you need to do is place a $25 wager or $25 or more on various NCAA tournament bet types. For example, in the first weekend, these are the 4 things that you need to do. Place a bet of $25 or more on a 12 seed to upset a 5 seed, a 5-leg parlay, a future on any team to win the NCAA tournament, and win just one single bet on a first round game to advance to the second weekend. Easy enough, right? So with the NCAA tournament kicking off in just 3 days, get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today or by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. You must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I like Rutgers to win their first 4-game over Notre Dame and then to knock off Alabama. Just have a feeling about the Scarlet Knights. I think that they're in a position to potentially win a couple games here. I love the way they played down the stretch. I don't think they'll be phased at all. I think they're going to beat Notre Dame. I saw that line last night at like 1. I think it's a good matchup for Rutgers. I like the way things shake out for them. So for me, I know I'm going bold because it is a first 4 team. I don't like either of the 5-12 or 4-13 in this predicament. I don't. I think Arkansas with JD Note, and I'll get to them in a little bit. I feel bad that Vermont drew them. Maybe Vermont gives them a game, and I don't think UConn's going to have trouble with New Mexico State. But I'm going to go with Rutgers here, and then I made the bold prediction last night, and I'm probably going against everybody because I saw the line is fat. I would not be surprised, based on their guard play, if Montana State gives Texas Tech a game here. So my really, really bold upset predictions, the boldest one I have in the bracket could be Montana State on the Big Sky. I like the way they're constructed. And, guys, I'm doubting Texas Tech heading into March Madness.
All right. T.O., what do you got?
That's a big one. That's a
big one. That's a big one.
I think Arkansas is going to be able to get past Gonzaga in the 3rd round. And I know that's
wow.
an upset that's way down there, but I think Arkansas, because of their physicality around the perimeter and their athletes on the interior, I think that Arkansas could make a push to get to the Elite 8. The other one I'm looking at is Davidson, and not just over Michigan State, who's been very up and down, but Foster Loyer might be like, hey, you guys have had point guard problems. I'm that point guard, but I'm no longer there. I'm shooting 45% from 3. Please don't forget about your boy. So that there's some unique storylines in college basketball. This NCAA tournament this year, I think that's one of them. And I think Davidson will upset Michigan State. And then we get to that second round, and you have a Duke team that just lost to a Virginia Tech team that plays very, very similar to this Davidson team. I have Davidson to the Sweet 16, and
wow.
I think it could be a big-time upset, and Coach K could finish his career off in Greenville.
Wow.
Yes. So I don't know about Davidson beating Duke. I think that Arkansas can get picked off in the first round.
Wow.
I think that UVM can get them because I think so much of what Arkansas does is based off their ability to be great defensively. Like, they have so many athletes that can really pressure you. And I know Vermont has been doing it against America East opponents, and I know that they didn't have to deal with Stony Brook in their conference tournament because of Stony Brook leaving the league. But I mean, UVM has just been unconscious for like the last month of the season. They blew out everybody in their league. They beat everybody in the league tournament by 30 plus. They got a bunch of guys that can score a bunch of points. And if they're making their shots, I think that that's a dangerous matchup for Arkansas. I also think, and the pick I was going to make was Rutgers Fanta over Alabama to get to the second round.
We always have the same answer.
Yeah, so I'll go. Yeah, I know you always steal my answers. So I'll go with Texas Tech beating Duke to get to the Elite 8. I think that. I don't know if that technically counts as the upset, but Fanta stole mine. I also think that if Memphis can get to the second round, they'll provide a tough matchup for Gonzaga, but I actually have Boise beating them because I think Boise's good enough defensively that they're going to make life miserable for Memphis. I came in when this always happens. There's always one or two teams where I'm like, no matter what happens, I'm picking that team to the Sweet 16. I don't care who they match up with. And then get that one matchup where I'm like, yeah, you know what? I got to go a different way.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Good pick. In the words of Lee Corso, good pick on Boise State. Now, wait a minute. Quickly, do you think that UConn is going to make the Sweet 16? Because based on some of your course of logic, I sense it.
I can see him getting there. I'm worried about that matchup with New Mexico State. Like, those dudes are tough. Those dudes are physical.
They rebound.
They rebound. Chris Jans is going to have them ready to play their ass off. So I think that the matchup with New Mexico State is going to be tougher than people realize. But I don't hate the draw. I think that they actually match up fairly well with Arkansas. And I would love to see UConn play Arkansas in the second round of the tournament. But I don't.
You were talking about two tough teams.
Yeah.
Hey, let me be very clear and brief. Connecticut better win that game over New Mexico State. I'm just saying.
No, they should. They
better win the game, because if they go out like this again, you lost to Maryland last year. There's going to be like you got to win. You're UConn. You need to win this game. I'm just saying that's the standard there.
I 100% agree with you. It's not. I mean, the 5-12s are always where you look for upsets.
I'm with you.
This is not a great matchup. All right, let's go for players to watch. I'm going to you first on this one, Tio, because I already know where Fanta is going to go on this, and he's probably going to steal my guy again.
There's a couple. I've already mentioned some.
Take what? You get what? You get one. Understand the rules of the game, Tio.
Wow.
Get one.
All right, player to watch. Memphis is Jalen Duren. The reason being, I know he's been the focus of a lot of stories this year. Reason being is they get past Boise State. That Gonzaga matchup is going to be really intriguing between him and Drew Timme. I think because of his size and athleticism and all that, like I think that could be something to look at because of his strength. He could keep Drew Timme out of the post. It's just the fact that he's a freshman. I wonder how exactly Drew Timme is going to handle that. He struggled with guys similar to him in the past. I think because he's a freshman, Drew Timme might be able to toy around with him a little bit with all the shot fakes and footwork. But that second round game, if Memphis gets past Boise, and I have Boise picked, but if Memphis gets past Boise, Drew Timme and Jalen Duren matchup is going to be fun to watch.
Yep. All right, Fanta, go ahead.
I'm going to go with a big man, 6'8", 250. Okay, I appreciate the guys who like going to the lunch buffet. Ryan Davis of UVM is my player to watch. Ryan Davis is a big boy. He's as good as there is in the America East, averages over 17 points per game. Guys, he's shooting 42% from beyond the arc, and he's got size, and he's shooting almost 60% from the field. And I think he's very lovable. Like in March Madness, we love certain personalities and certain kids. If Vermont's going to pull this off over Arkansas, it's going to be because Ryan Davis is a big-time story. I think the Catamounts will be in it. I like the geographical draw for them, too. Their fans are going to be able to make the short trip over to Buffalo. Give me Ryan Davis as a player to watch.
Can I ask you one question, Fanta?
Yes, sir.
Do you think he's going to hit one from the parking lot?
Oh, he might. He might. They're certainly capable of it. Like, yes, TJ Sorensen and Gus Johnson on the call that was unconscious when Vermont beat Syracuse. Yeah, man. Yeah, he might. Ryan Davis, baby, that's my guy in this region.
Yeah, I don't hate it. That's he's their best player. When they did lose in league play, it was because he was not available. I think they lost. It was Hartford in overtime that they lost to. I remember that because I bet on Vermont in that game, and that was that one hurt. I'm going to go on the other side of that matchup though. I'm going to say JD Notae is the guy to watch because I think it's very feasible that Arkansas can get to a Final Four out of this group. I think that I think they match up well with UConn. I think that they can beat UConn. I think that if they get to that Gonzaga game because of their physicality and athleticism and toughness, I think that they could give Gonzaga some trouble. And if they get to the Elite Eight, I mean, look, JD Notae is a guy that can get you 30 and 8 against pretty much anybody, right? And when they defend the way they defend and JD Notae goes off, I said it before the tournament started. There are two guys that I think can go on a Kemba Walker, Shabazz Napier kind of a run out of this group. It's JD Notae and Johnny Davis. So how can I not mention JD Notae here? All right. What was the last thing what's the one matchup that you're rooting for out of this region? Fanta, you go first.
No question about it. I mean, it's not even a question what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Tom Izzo versus Mike Krzyzewski down in Greenville. I think that would be absolutely phenomenal. And that's no disrespect to Davidson. But if we get Duke and Michigan State on the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? I actually like the way that Duke would match up with Michigan State more than I like the way Duke matches up with Davidson, to T.O.'s point earlier. That being said, I'm never going to bet against Izzo. I'm never going to go against Tom Izzo. And I think that for Michigan State, what are they getting from Gabe Brown and Malik Hall? What are those guys giving them? Are they able to create transition in this tournament? Davidson's going to say, we are not giving you transition. Now, Michigan State needs that to win. So yes, that's the fascinating dimension to the Michigan State and Davidson game. In fact, Greenville is the site this weekend. It's the Coaching for Dummies site. If I were a young coach looking to go to one site this weekend to learn some things, I would take my little journal and I'd go down to Greenville and I'd sit down in section 200 and I'd say, okay, Bob McKillop, what's he like to run? All right, Tom Izzo, what's he like to run? All right, here comes Coach K. What are they doing? Like, this is it's like a coaching clinic. It's like a coaching clinic down there this weekend. I want Duke, Michigan State.
Tia, what are you rooting for?
I hope I get a Connecticut-Arkansas matchup, because I'm sitting here, I'm looking at two of the toughest teams in the country. They're not overly skilled, either one, but it's like they survive off grit. They survive on the boards. They survive on defense. I think that game could be fantastic moving forward. And both teams have really, really good players. And JD Notae, Tyree Smart, like that. There's so many intriguing matchups there that I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I think one to keep an eye on is Jalen Williams has had to deal with some beasts in the post in the SEC. If he goes up against Adama Sanogo, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch as well. Connecticut and Arkansas in that second round would be awesome.
Yeah, I want to see the Gonzaga-Duke rematch if we can get there. I don't think that Duke is going to get there, but I think that would be one of those games where you have the talent, you have the hype, you have the players, you have the buzz. It would be one of those ones that gets a lot of eyeballs, and it would be a great thing for the Field of 68 and also for college basketball, the sport as a whole. All right, I have Gonzaga beating UConn, Texas Tech beating Duke, and then Gonzaga getting past Texas Tech to get to the Final Four. Fanta, what do you have?
Yep, I have Gonzaga coming out of this region. I will go with UConn to make the Sweet 16. I think Gonzaga beats them. I like Rutgers to beat Alabama, as we talked about, but I like Texas Tech making the Sweet 16. I think Duke will make it, but I like Texas Tech to knock them off. So I've got Gonzaga, Texas Tech. Gonzaga wins.
All right, we got the same thing. T.O., what do you got? I know
I got Arkansas.
Your bracket's crazy. I love
mine has messed up significantly, and now after getting a full night's sleep, I'm having to defend these picks. But I'm going to go ahead and stay with it. Arkansas, Texas Tech in the Elite Eight, and
wow.
I've got Texas Tech going to the Final Four.
Wow.
And there's going to be 50,000 Red Raider fans coming by horse from Lubbock to New Orleans, and I'm fired up about it.
That'd be amazing if Mark Adams does that in year one. That would really be something.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be a shame that a Texas Tech, Arkansas Elite Eight matchup with the Final Four on the line would have to be played out west instead of playing it. Like, I feel like they got to play that one in like Texarkana or something like that, right? You got to play that like
awesome.
You got to play that like in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the Dust Bowl. So, all right, let's go to the South. Arizona's the 1 seed. Villanova's the 2 seed. Tennessee's the 3 seed. They got absolutely robbed. For the record, we don't have to get into that. We've ranted and raved enough about that. It's time to talk about what's actually happening in these brackets. So what was the first thing we got to talk about? Upsets. Tio, I'm going to you first on this one. You seem to be the king of upsets these days. So what's the upset that you have in this region?
I'm a little bit big on upsets this year for the lone reason that I can later look at it and be like, I called it. I'm just going to take credit for all the upsets. No, I have the 5-12 upset with Houston and UAB, and then one below it, I have Illinois and Chattanooga as an upset. Illinois is really good, but Chattanooga can match up size-wise with Illinois, and Chattanooga's got 15 fouls between 3 5 men that they could just throw at Kofi Coburn, and Illinois only got one of him. So I think that's going to be something to look after moving forward. Chattanooga's got a young man named Malachi Smith, who's really, really good. So I'm excited to see those upsets. Outside of that, bottom half, Loyola Chicago over Ohio State. That's how I feel about that. They're going to run into Villanova and get beat after. But I think it's going to be a terrific bracket as far as that's concerned. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Fanta, what do you have?
Well, I think Jordan Jelly Walker and UAB are going to beat Houston. I think it's one of the more popular picks, but for good reason. I don't trust Houston at all. Unfortunately, they went through some injuries this season, and I just don't trust the team on the American. And I do like Conference USA enough to think UAB is ready for this moment. Jelly Walker's playing as well as any guard in America right now. Seriously, he is. He's that good. So I like UAB. I have been toying all night with the Chattanooga, Illinois game. Now, here's the thing. I have trust. I don't know how to say it. Like, there's one moment, 1 hour, I have trust issues with Illinois. The next moment, I don't. Okay? I go back and forth. I think Illinois could make a Final Four. But I go back and forth with this all the time. So on my bracket, because I go more of a distrust than I do trust, I'm picking Chattanooga. And the reason being is I just look at the mocks and I see a team that, yes, is in the SoCon, but has power conference caliber talent. They really do.
They really do. Yep.
Sylvia D'Souza is able to match up with Kofi Coper. Malachi Smith is big time. I saw what Malachi Smith has been doing from an efficiency standpoint. I was
ridiculous.
I was extremely impressed. He's one of the more efficient players in the entire tournament. So I know that those are two hot picks, but I'm matching you, T.O. I like those. I like those upsets. I do like Loyola Chicago. I am out on Ohio State. I was over a month ago. You guys know this on this podcast.
You called that one, man. I'll give you credit. You called that one.
I didn't think they were any good then, and I don't think they're any good now. And I like Loyola Chicago. I'm sorry. I think Ohio State, after E.J. Liddell, I don't know what to make of them. So I'm going to go with those couple of upsets. Man, I can't believe I'm saying this. No, Colorado State's going to beat Michigan. Just when everybody thinks Michigan's going to win this game, I'm still going to hang tough with the Rams.
I like Colorado State in that spot. So I think this is the toughest spot for the 5-12 game and the toughest spot for the 4-13 game. I think Houston gets it done. I want to be in on UAB. I want to love UAB. It feels like the Colgate Villanova game from last season when Villanova didn't have Gillespie and everybody thought that Colgate was going to – no, it wasn't Colgate. Who was it? Who did they play in the first round last year, Fanta? Villanova.
Villanova played let's see, was it North Texas? Winthrop. I'm sorry, Winthrop.
Yeah, it was the Villanova-Winthrop game. Sorry. And everybody thought Winthrop was going to end up winning that game, and then Villanova kind of held them at arm's length throughout just because – veterans, upperclassmen, well coached. They understand what they're doing. It's a system more than a team built off of talent. So I think Houston finds a way to beat UAB. I'm with you guys on Chattanooga, though. They have the size to deal with Kofi. They have great guards, and they can run ball screens. And when you can do those three things against Illinois, you're going to have a chance. So give me David Jean-Baptiste, give me Malachi Smith, give me Silvio D'Souza, and give me Chattanooga knocking off Illinois, which means I have Houston going to the Sweet 16, which is something that I did not expect to be doing at the start of the tournament.
In a matchup too, like some of these big fours that shoot it for Illinois, Darius Banks is a good player. Like he's a 1,000-point scorer at James Madison, transferred down to Chattanooga. Like he can space the floor out too. They've got a lot of guys. I mean, it's a Power 5 level of talent on that team. It's amazing what Lamont Paris has been able to put together down there.
Yeah, and I'll say this as well. Loyola is going to be favored over Ohio State in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and say that we cannot count that one as an upset. 10/7 when the 10 is favored does not count as an upset. I'm putting it out there. If Ohio State wins, they're winning in an upset. All right, let's talk about the matchups that you want to see.
I like that take. The matchups go ahead, Terrence.
Whoever, someone take it. Go. Someone take it.
Go Fanta.
Well, the matchups that I would like to see, I kind of like to see the Religious Bowl between Villanova and Loyola Chicago, and just to see is somebody gonna. I mean, it's practically it's on a Sunday. It fits.
What did Prom say last night?
Yeah, he said they'll probably go to church after the game. And guess what? He's not wrong. I've seen teams do that. I've seen Catholic teams do that. I mean, I'm going to pray the glorious mysteries before the game. Which rosary people know what I'm talking about right now. But Villanova's got a team chaplain, Father Rob Hagan. So it's Father Rob versus Sister Jean. There's some really good pictures there that could be fun. And I would like to see that. I'd be intrigued to see that. I'll tell you what, in the South, I think it would be interesting to see David Roddy in multiple games, to see Colorado State play Tennessee. Like, I'm rooting for that. But I want to see in this, if I have a dream, guys, it's to see Arizona play Illinois again. If Arizona played Illinois again, I'd love to see it. They matched up in Champaign. It was a great college basketball game. That's my dream here. And I think Villanova, Tennessee, they played at Mohegan Sun in November. Villanova waxed Tennessee. But Tennessee's been one of the best teams in the country since January. What happens in the rematch? What happens in the rematch if that happens? So I know it's a little chalky, but I guess my dream would be more so than the Villanova-Tennessee game. I want to see Arizona play Illinois again, guys. That was a great basketball game. And you want to talk about the size? The size on display in that game? True. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Two programs with terrific fan bases. I would love to see that game in San Antonio.
One I'm looking forward to the most, and you hit on pretty much all of them, Fanta, so I'll just stick with one this time. Tennessee and Villanova. And the reason being, I don't know what it is about this time of year when it comes to like big physical wings and guards that play extremely tough and extremely hard. I think those two teams are built very similar from a mentality perspective. Defensively, getting out, really pressuring the ball handler. People behind you are in great position all the time. Two defensive-minded teams. Tennessee's freshmen guards can play really well. I can see them upsetting Villanova. And because, Uros Plavsic, some of these other guys that are on that Tennessee team, they bring a lot of size to the table, and it's a lot of size that Villanova doesn't necessarily have. And that could work for their benefit. It could work to their detriment. It's just a matter of how Tennessee is able to go into that game. But both have a journey to get there. Loyola Chicago's tough, and they really move it. And they have multiple guys that can shoot it. They've got some nice post play. I just don't see them beating Villanova because Villanova, like we've said a billion times, those guys are just machines. I'd like to see the machines play the Volunteers in the Sweet 16. That would probably be my most fun to watch. And then Arizona and Tennessee would be pretty good too. They're in that Elite Eight competition.
I mean, you guys nailed it. The matchups that we need is an Elite Eight, or I'm sorry, a Sweet 16. That's Arizona, Illinois, Tennessee, and Villanova. What I have in my bracket is Arizona, Houston, Tennessee, Villanova, and I actually have Villanova beating Tennessee, beating Arizona, and getting to the Final Four. I just think that, I think that Colin Gillespie posting up Zakai Ziegler and Kennedy Chandler, I think, is going to be a big problem, and I don't think that Tennessee has the bigs that can take advantage of the size mismatch that they would have inside, with Eric Dixon being a little bit smaller. And yeah, I mean, Villanova against Arizona, I think that Villanova would be able to control the pace. They're not going to overplay or overchase offensive rebounds. They'll be able to keep Arizona out of transition. And I think that, again, Colin Gillespie against Kirk Creesa, give me the guy that you trust in Gillespie. What do you have for a Sweet 16, Elite Eight, and Final Four, TO?
Sweet 16, I have Arizona against Chattanooga, Tennessee against Villanova, Arizona and Tennessee advancing.
All right. Sweet 16, I'm going to go with Arizona and UAB. I'm going to pick the Blazers to go to the Sweet 16. There you go. Going way bold right now.
AK, baby. We need as much AK in our lives as we can get.
Yes, we do.
Better beat Houston. Villanova and Tennessee. I'm going to go with Tennessee to make the Final Four.
You're putting me on an island, guys. Come on. You guys are putting me on an island.
Hey, I'll tell you what, with my coverage area, Villanova makes Final Four. That's an amazing thing. It'd be great.
Here's the thing. This is what's happening right now. I just want everyone to know what's happening. John Fanta is trying to prove he's not Big East biased by going against the Big East, when in his heart of hearts and his mind of minds, he knows Villanova is the right pick here. This is the anti-bias play. I get it, Fanta. I'm with you. I see it.
Hey, look, I'm gonna call a spade here. I got to tell it like it is. I'm on the field of 68, and I look at the way Tennessee has played. I think that they remember what happened in November. Villanova is hard to beat, but I think if there's a team that could do it, it actually is Tennessee. So look, it'd be a great rematch. I'm rooting for that game. I'm with you, Terrence. I'll tell you, there's always something to be said about like weird things coming full circle. So if Villanova, Tennessee happened, it would happen in San Antonio, where Villanova rolled to a national championship in 2018, and Colin Gillespie and Jermaine Samuels were there. They like playing. They like playing down in San Antonio.
Yeah,
and Nova fans like going down there.
That was back when they were what? They were, I think they were juniors then.
Yeah.
Right. They might have been seniors, and this is now their 7th senior year.
And let me just add,
it's unfair that Villanova can play 28-year-olds, guys. Like these guys are.
Stop it.
I don't know if you know this, Fanta, but Colin Gillespie and T.O. were in the same recruiting class. Okay, they played against each other on the EYBL circuit.
Both top 150 recruits.
Here's what we need. But selfishly, I hope the Wildcats can get down to San Antonio, because I'd like to be doing a Field of 68 live hit on the Riverwalk on a boat, just like going by and just yelling crazy things as I give my predictions. All my predictions for the Field of 68, if I'm down in San Antonio second weekend, will be coming from the river. I will literally give you my picks as we're rolling down the river.
Here's the thing, Fanta, you'll be doing that whether you're down there for Field of 68 for Big East, or you're just down there on your own. You're gonna be rolling down there, and you don't even have to be down
I
there
just
for
go down there
college
myself.
basketball. You'll be down there in July being like, what do you guys think of Colin Gillespie now, huh?
Yes.
All right, let's get to the Midwest, guys. We have Kansas as the 1 seed, Auburn as the 2 seed, Wisconsin as the 3, the Providence Friars as the 4. T.O., I've already talked to you about this bracket, man. Give me your upset pick, because this one is a doozy, folks.
The bottom of that bracket is going to be a mess. And I'm just throwing it out there. And I wasn't the only person to say this. I think Miami can get all the way to the Elite Eight.
Oh,
you
my God.
You look at that and say that's the same. That's the same reaction that Randolph Childress had.
What?
And his looks of disappointment every time I made a pick yesterday. It was like unbelievable. No, Miami's guards are good. And they're good. They have Sam Wardenberg, who can pull Isaiah Mobley away from the basket to where he can't protect it as high of a level. Isaiah Wong, Cam Auguste, they've got dudes out on the perimeter. Those guys can score it. Give me Miami over Southern Cal. And then they play Auburn. Who's had some guard issues. Miami's strength is guard play.
Oh, my.
Give me the Canes.
Oh!
Give me the Canes. And then they'll probably run into Wisconsin and Johnny Davis. And it's one against about 3 dudes for Miami who can get it done.
No.
Give me the Canes. Give me the Canes over Wisconsin. But a fun matchup is going to be Tari Eason against Johnny Davis. I'm looking forward to that. But give me the Canes. They're going to play Kansas in the Elite Eight. Kansas is going to end up advancing. Miami. Give me the Canes. Give me Larinaga. Your feel-good story. Don't think I forgot about that, Mr. Fanta. That was your feel-good story.
That was my feel-good story.
So you got to keep that in mind here.
Yeah.
They'll win 1, 2. They'll win 3 games.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe you just did that.
And then only about 5,000 people in the city of Miami will actually know that it's occurring, but it will still, nonetheless, be a great run by the Canes.
Fanta, we do not need to acknowledge this. Go ahead and go with your upset pick.
Man, I got to tell you guys, if I look at this bracket, all right, I love Wisconsin's draw because I have no idea what to expect from LSU and Iowa State. LSU goes through this coaching change here. I wonder if those kids will rally around each other and get a win. I think they will. I like LSU to beat Iowa State. I don't trust Iowa State offensively at all. But I like the way things set up for Wisconsin because I have trust issues with Auburn. So that's why I don't mind the Miami pick from that standpoint. Like when you're picking in your bracket, look at the higher seed that you don't trust and then try to find a team that could end up making a run over them. That's how you pick. You're not going to pick, Gonzaga to lose. You want to look at, or at least you're probably not. When I look at this, I actually think, so I like Providence and Iowa. I don't think either one of them is going to get picked off, despite both games being interesting. I think the Friars getting blitzed by Creighton helps them in this first round game. I think they're going to win. And South Dakota State is a sub 200 defensive team in Ken Palm. They don't defend.
And they also have Providence also has a kid named Justin Minaya who they're going to put on Shireman.
Shireman.
What's his first name?
Baylor.
Baylor Shireman, yeah, they're going to put him on Baylor Shireman. He's going to eat his lunch.
He's going to.
That kid's not going to get anything going. And I think Providence is a 2-point favorite according to our friends over at Bet River Sportsbook, and I think that they roll South Dakota State. I picked South Dakota State yesterday. I've completely changed my mind on that upset.
I do like. I don't know why. I have this gut feeling about the San Diego State Creighton winner giving Kansas a game. I don't know if I'm ready to say they would win. I'd still lean Kansas. But, guys, I think that San Diego State-Creighton game is a great 8-9 matchup. Two really good defensive teams. Creighton's played extremely well over the last couple weeks. San Diego State, the name of their star escapes me right now.
Matt Bradley.
Thank you. Matt Bradley. I watched him on film a little bit. Watched some highlights as well. I was really impressed. And I think that he's a guy that can give Creighton some problems. But by the same token, this comes down to Alex O'Connell, Trey Alexander's ability to guard, to make things happen. I think Greg McDermott's got a team with the right mojo. I like Ryan Hawkins as well. Look, I don't think that Kansas loses to either, but I think it's a tougher 8-9 draw than you think, because I think Creighton can play with the big dog, right? I do. Yeah, they play with Villanova. San Diego State can too. I like Kansas, but I don't think there's a major upset in this early on in this region. I'm out on the idea of an upset for whatever reason.
So my upset was going to be anybody that picks an upset in this region. So I think that the only double-digit seed that wins is going to end up being Miami, and then I think we're going to see kind of chalk get into the second weekend. I think it's going to be Kansas, Auburn, Wisconsin, and whoever wins that Providence-Iowa game. I have Iowa right now beating Providence, but I can be talked out of that. All right, who's the player to watch? There's a lot of talent in this region. There might be the most individual talent out of any region. Tio, who do you got for a player to watch?
Keegan Murray. That's a pretty easy one. Is there a guy that's more talented of a scorer in the country? It's close, but I would say almost no. I mean, there's a couple of guys up there flirting around with him, but for the most part, he is that guy. And then Johnny Davis is also in that one. Two studs out of the Big Ten. Those two are obviously two to watch. But one that I think is going to be huge is that 8-9 matchup, like you guys talked about. Those Creighton freshmen and those young players for Creighton, how they go up against one of the best defenses in the country. That's a few right there. I know you say one all the time, and I like go off on a tangent, but those are three sets of players.
Yeah, you guys aren't very good at following the directions.
Not big on orders. Not big on directions.
Not big on directions. Fanta, what do you got?
KD Johnson of Auburn.
You did it again. You know you did it again, right?
I stole it?
Yeah, you stole mine. Go ahead. Go ahead, Fanta.
Auburn got a nice setup here. So I'm going to give it to an Auburn guard because KD Johnson, as Terrence says, runs on nightmare fuel. He makes all the little plays happen. He gets after loose balls. He makes big-time shots for this team. I'm going to go with KD Johnson. Auburn. Do not let me down, Auburn, because you have been shaky here down the stretch in the season, but I think the committee did you a favor. I really do. This is your window to make a run, and can they? Hell yeah, they can. KD Johnson is my impact player.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's the Auburn guards for me. You know, if they show up and they play the way that they play within themselves. If we don't get a KD Johnson over 14 performance, right? I think that those are going to be the guys that determine just how far Auburn goes. And that's not really a hot take. We've seen it all season long. The one other one that I will say is one guy that could kind of be a little bit of a difference maker is Remy Martin. When you're going up against a team, whoever Kansas gets in that second round, I think it'll be San Diego State. Creighton could be there as well. You're going to get a borderline elite defensive team. And you're going to need people that can create something on their own in the half court. And the only guy that can really do that for Kansas, I think, is Remy Martin. He's a game breaker, and they don't really have many game breakers that can do things on their own. So that's one guy to watch. All right, what is the matchup that you are hoping for out of this region? Fanta, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this region, I would really like to see Auburn play Wisconsin. I'd be really intrigued to see that game if it's a 2-3 matchup. To see the talent level of Jabari Smith on one side and Johnny Davis on the other. Are you kidding?
The game is going to be played, right?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, in
You know what
Chicago, right?
in Chicago. So do you know who that's going to be a home game for?
Wisconsin.
The Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah, and Wisconsin gets to play their first weekend in Milwaukee. I mean, the committee did them a favor.
Mm.
Holy
Yeah, I didn't
cow.
even think about that. Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
cow. We were talking about Villanova being in the East, and they weren't. Wisconsin got as good of a draw in this tournament as any team. They really did. They really did. LSU and Iowa State can't be trusted. Wisconsin's going to win 2 games in this tournament and get to Auburn. So who wins that game? Jabari Smith, big time. Auburn, I think, can cause some matchup issues for Wisconsin when Auburn's at their best. But Wisconsin's so tough, guys. Chucky Hepburn, Tyler Wall. How about the rim protection involved in Wisconsin-Auburn? It'd be a great front court battle. I want that game.
What do you got, T.O.?
Are we overlooking Colgate and how good they are?
I mean, it's
That just has
me-
madness written all over it.
to me, no, because the game is played in Wisconsin, and I don't think Colgate has anybody that can stop Johnny Davis. The only thing I will say is Johnny Davis is a little bit banged up right now. So if he's not at 100%, it's a foot, ankle. He's got, I can't remember what it is. He's one of those guys that's got something going on.
Yeah.
Do you have Colgate winning too? Do you
No.
have a,
No.
You heard it here first. Colgate against Miami in the Sweet 16.
No. A couple of individual matchups that I'm looking forward to watching if we get those matchups. Keegan Murray, Justin Minaya, you guys alluded to it. That's going to be freaking awesome. Mano-y-mano situation going on there. One of the best offensive players in the country versus one of the best defensive players in the country that for some reason isn't getting picked on defensive All-America lists, which is baffling to me. And then Tari Eason against Johnny Davis, LSU and Wisconsin. I realize the whole thing with LSU has put a damper on for me, but at the same time, they still have dudes. And Tari Eason is one of those dudes. Johnny Davis is one of those dudes. That's going to be a quality matchup.
Yeah, the last time that Will Wade was not involved in the NCAA tournament for LSU, he was suspended for the 2019 NCAA tournament. Tony Bedford took them to the Sweet 16. So maybe they're better without Will Wade. I know that's a harsh thing to say for T.O. over here, who was recruited by Will Wade, who had a bad.
I wasn't. He was the Dobo. He couldn't recruit me then, but sure, I'll
there
take
you
it. I'll just sit on it. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you guys nailed the matchups. To me, it's not the team matchups, it's the individual matchups here that we could end up seeing. That could be a lot of fun. I have Kansas and Iowa in the Sweet 16. I have Wisconsin and Auburn in the Sweet 16. I'm going chalk to the Elite Eight. I have Kansas and Auburn. I have Auburn getting to the Final Four. I'm doing it. I am buying into Wendell Green. I'm buying into Katie Johnson. I'm saying that they are going to show up when the lights are the brightest, and they're going to get Auburn back to the Final Four. What do you got, Fanta?
Wisconsin to the Final Four.
I like
taking the Badgers.
Yep, I got Kansas to the Final Four, beating Miami in the Elite Eight.
Amazing.
Bill Self just continues to get it done.
If that happens, I'm buying you a great meal in New Orleans. If Miami makes the Elite Eight, I'm doing it right now. Because I got to give you credit for going out on the ledge there, sir. Good stuff.
Thank you.
All right, let's go. Let's go to the East, where I think things are going to get fucking bananas. Okay, this is going to be the bracket that just goes completely insane. There's always one region that goes completely insane, and I think this is going to be the region that goes completely insane. I'm going to take the lead on this one. I'm going to tell you the upsets that I have. I'm pulling a TO. I am doing more than one. Okay, you guys ready for this? I have one. UNC beating Marquette in the first round and beating Baylor to get to the Sweet 16.
Wow.
I have that too.
I have Indiana knocking off Wyoming, knocking off St. Mary's, and getting to the second round of the NCAA tournament. I have Virginia Tech beating Chris Beard and the Fighting Longhorns, getting to the second round, taking on Purdue, taking down Purdue, and beating the Boilermakers and getting to the Sweet 16.
Wow.
So those are the three upsets that I have. I will have in my Sweet 16, 11 seed Virginia Tech, 8 seed UNC, and I will have 12 seed Indiana getting to the second round of the NCAA tournament. What you got, guys? What do we got here? T.O., give me some upsets.
I got Carolina over Baylor. Carolina getting all the way to the Elite Eight, as much as it pains me to say. And then I got Indiana making the Sweet 16, playing North Carolina. Virginia Tech making the Sweet 16, beating Texas, then beating Purdue, because I just feel like if those guys shoot the ball anything like they shot it against Duke, like who beats them? I sure don't know. And then after that, Murray State, I got winning, playing Kentucky in the second. Kentucky, I've got finishing all the way through. But there's so many good games in this one. This Marquette team, though, that's playing Carolina in round one, that's the kind of team that's beat the brakes off of Carolina. Just tough as nails. They're going to get up. They're going to guard you. They're going to push you out. They're going to have size on the interior to mess with Baycott. Baycott might have 20 and 20, but they might still get beat by 20. So it's like one of those things, like, because Marquette's so tough-minded, that's a team that could give North Carolina credit, or give them credit, give them a hard time.
Yep. I agree. I do kind of feel like Fanta, I'm buying in a little too much in the hype with North Carolina for beating Duke. But what I will say is this: they have the highest upside, I think, out of any of the teams on the 8-9 seed line, with the exception of maybe Memphis. But Memphis, again, they don't really have great point guard play. UNC does; they fit the mold. They have R.J. Davis and Caleb Love. You could give them 2 point guards. But here's what I'll say: given Baylor's depth issues and injury issues, and the fact that I don't think L.J. Cryer is going to be, if he does play, which I think is probably very iffy at this point, I don't think he's going to be anywhere near 100%. Whoever wins that UNC Marquette game, I think, takes down Baylor in the second round of the tournament. What do you have for upsets?
I disagree on the UNC Marquette angle. I like Baylor to make the Sweet 16. I think that the upset of this region is going to be UCLA eventually making it back to, beating Baylor. I like UCLA over Baylor. I really do. I think UCLA's draw is good because even though Indiana's going to be a trendy pick and even though they're playing well, I like the fact that UCLA gets Akron all the way out west. I don't trust St. Mary's enough to take them if St. Mary's were to win. And I like UCLA the way that they match up with Indiana. I think it's actually a good draw for UCLA. And I think the experience factor kicks in. So I know you call them the bracket of chaos. We do a podcast to have differing views. I'm not seeing as much chaos, and maybe it's because I'm not going bold enough. I could see, guys, the Murray State San Francisco winner shocking Kentucky, and it would be a shock to everybody. But sometimes in this tournament, the shocking of all shocking things happens. I love Kentucky. And I'm actually probably going to pencil them into my Final Four. But I actually think that Kentucky could have a harder time in their second round game than they would in their Sweet 16 game. I think that. Because I look at the 4 teams. Look at it. Texas, Virginia Tech, Purdue, and Yale. None of those teams, to me, says that scares Kentucky. I love the makeup of the Murray State Racers. And, guys, do you realize how big of a game that would be for Murray State and their fans? And if they get a chance, to play Kentucky, that would just be such an amazing opportunity for that program if they're able to beat San Francisco. And I like the Dons, and I have all year. And I think sometimes when you get to the NCAA tournament, it allows you to hit the reset button. At the end of the day, both Murray State and San Francisco are what? Ken Palm top 30? I'm correct in stating that? Out of the second round draws that teams have gotten, Kentucky actually got a difficult second round draw when you look at the metrics.
Yeah, I think that the matchup with Murray State would be difficult because Murray State has 2 really, really, really good guards in Juice Hill and Tevin Brown.
Yes.
They got a big guy inside that can kind of do a little bit of work against Sheway. He can step on the perimeter. They are built in a similar manner to what Arkansas is. Not quite as tough, but their team build and their roster build is similar to Arkansas. And we saw Arkansas beat.
It gives me heavy Illinois Loyola Chicago vibes from last year.
Yes, it does, Terrence. That's a great point.
Like that small team that's still really, really good. That's not getting the same recognition. Still struggling to kind of get people in that state to jump over. But they're not going to, obviously, because it's Kentucky. But it kind of gives me the same feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit. I think Kentucky's too good to be able to get picked off in that second round game.
I don't like Virginia Tech in the first round. I like Texas. I think it's really hard to win your conference tournament, ride that high into the NCAAs. So I do like the Longhorns. I'm going against the grain there.
I don't buy. I think I'm not buying Texas, and you're probably right, and I'm probably just buying into the hype and recency bias and all that. All right, who is the player to watch in this region? Fanta, I'll go to you first on this one.
Jaime Jaquez. Because if Jaime Jaquez is playing at an elite level, I'll trust UCLA with my life. I will. Even though they lost the Pac-12 championship game, they lost it to a 1 seed in Arizona who's playing outstanding basketball. I look at UCLA. Guys, we've seen this so many times in the NCAA tournament, okay? You go through the years with players and teams. A team that gets to the big dance floor, knows what it takes to win in that position, and then gets back to their mojo. And so for me, here's what I think. UCLA on their best day is even better than a 4 seed. On their best day, when they're playing their best basketball, they're that good.
Yep.
So for me, I like the way that they draw. At the end of the day, guys, they didn't draw a power conference opponent potentially in their second round game. And that's no disrespect, but it's the truth. Out of the 5 seeds, UCLA is playing St. Mary's. I like St. Mary's. I don't know if I love them against UCLA.
Are they, though? Are they going to play St. Mary's?
Exactly.
Are they playing St. Mary's? They're going to be playing Indiana.
Okay. So
Indiana might be a mid-major too, though. At this point.
Well, I just think I'm going to go with Jaime and Johnny Juzang. I mean, Rob, you said it yourself earlier in the season. Jaime Jaquez, is at his best, All-American material, might be their best player. So I'm going to stick with the Bruins here, and I'll go with Jaime.
Player to watch for me plays at Indiana, and everybody knows who Trace Jackson Davis is, but it's Xavier Johnson. His name is Xavier. His name is Xavier Johnson, correct? So
yes,
Xavier Johnson, that's a guy to watch because when he plays well, Indiana is really, really good. He's the X factor for them. They've got kind of pieces everywhere. They've got their main guy in TJD, but Xavier Johnson is the guy that runs that ship. And when he's really, really good, Indiana's really, really good. So moving forward, I like that one. Are we going just individual matchups right now, or are we doing team matchups?
No,
players?
We're just doing players. So
Okay.
the player for me to watch is Jaden Ivey. I think he is the X factor in this tournament. I think that when he goes supernova, when he goes nuts, Purdue takes another level offensively. And when Purdue is at their best offensively, look, with all of the issues that they have on the defensive end of the floor, they are still a team that can put up 100 on anybody. And if they put up 100 on you, you're probably not going to beat them.
Yep.
And I think so. Jaden Ivey, that's the guy that I'll be watching. Look, we know there are issues with point guard play. We know how important Sasha Stefanovic is to that team. We know how much they struggle guarding ball screens and how much they struggle when Zach Edey is kind of forced to play on the perimeter. But that can all be nullified if Jaden Ivey goes nuts. So to me, Jaden Ivey is the one to keep an eye on. All right, what is the matchup that you're watching for, T.O., and then give me your Sweet 16, Final Four, and who makes it out of that region?
There are so many good games in the first round for this bracket. North Carolina Marquette's going to be terrific. UCLA and Akron's an interesting one for me because those coaches coach very similar to each other. Mick Cronin and John Groce, those two tough-minded guys, let their guys go a little bit on offense, but those guys are high level. I think that's going to be a better game than people realize. And then Murray State and San Francisco, I found it weird that you went mid-major in a 7-10, typically because they like to spread out those mid-majors a little bit. But that's going to be a great matchup. I think the winner of, if we were able to get a Purdue-Kentucky, now I don't have that picked, but a Purdue-Kentucky matchup would be really, really intriguing from a matchup standpoint. With Purdue's bigs, with Zach Edey, Travion Williams, and they could just throw waves at Oscar Tshiebwe. How would Tshiebwe play against somebody with that much size in Zach Edey? We saw what Zach Edey did to Kofi Coburn in Illinois. We saw what happened there. Would he be able to do the same thing against Oscar Tshiebwe? That would be a great matchup. I don't have that happening, but I think it very well could happen. But there's just so many good games in this region.
Fanta?
Yeah. I'm rooting for Indiana to meet UCLA. I do think that would be really fun, and man, TV would be rooting for that too. The rating on that would be absurd. And then could you imagine if we get North Carolina, UCLA? Could you imagine that? This is the region of big brands. And then, look, because I got UCLA going far, I like Kentucky to meet UCLA here. I like Kentucky to come on this region. But I'm going back to the Bruins. Well, We'll see if I'm right or wrong. It's the beauty of this tournament, but I like Kentucky here. I think this sets up well for Kentucky at the end of the day. You know why? They get to the Sweet 16 weekend. I don't trust any of the 4 teams that they could meet. I'd pick Kentucky over Purdue. I don't think Texas or Virginia Tech could beat them. And if Baylor goes down, like, man, I feel weird being out on Baylor, but the injuries are obviously big, and it's a team that I don't know about offensively. So I'm going to go with Kentucky to win the East region.
Yeah, I have Kentucky coming out of the East. I have UNC, UCLA, Virginia Tech, and Kentucky in the Sweet 16, and then Kentucky beating UCLA to get to the Final Four. All right, guys, let's get to our Final Four picks, our national championship picks. I will go first. I have Gonzaga, Kentucky, Villanova, and Auburn in my Final Four. I have Villanova beating Auburn, and I have Kentucky beating Gonzaga, with Kentucky winning the national title, cutting down the nets in Coach K's final season. T.O., what do you got?
I never said my Sweet 16, I don't think, the way, but it doesn't
Oh, my
matter.
bad. Yeah, I cut you off.
But that's okay. That's okay. I have, just to rehash on that, I have Carolina, Indiana, Virginia Tech, and Kentucky, with North Carolina and Kentucky winning and matching up in the Elite Eight. And then I have Kentucky advancing to the Final Four. My Final Four picks are Texas Tech, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Kansas, with Kentucky beating Kansas in the championship game.
That will be a wild Final Four. If we can get Kentucky fans, Texas Tech fans, Tennessee fans, and Kansas, you're just rooting for insanity.
Basically, my whole philosophy on this bracket was, what would make New Orleans the most fun, and it would be Texas Tech, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Kansas.
All right. I've got Gonzaga. I'm going to match Terrence, and I'm going to go with Tennessee. I just love the way the Volunteers are playing. Come on, Vols. Do not let me down, because I'm trusting you here. I like the way that they've evolved offensively. I love JJJ's game, and I think that Kendi Chandler is going to have a big tournament. Okay. Wisconsin is making the Final Four. There, I'm giving the Big Ten love. And I think Johnny Davis is the guy. It's that dude. I'm bought in. And then finally, I've got, we're all on it, which makes me feel a little bit weird. But I'm going to take Kentucky as well. I like Gonzaga to beat Kentucky. And I like, man, I'm back and forth right now. I'm really stuck on this one. I'm going to go with Wisconsin. Wisconsin to make it to the championship game. I cannot believe those words are coming out of my mouth. I'm going all in on the Badgers. Gonzaga gets there first. Gonzaga's winning the national championship.
That would be huge.
You can tell how much Fanta prep for this show when he's making all the decisions on the fly.
Did you not do a bracket? Do you have like a computerized bracket, Fanta?
I haven't completed the whole thing yet. So, but that's what I've got right now. It'll change by Thursday morning.
All right.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Go. T.O., did you run through your Final Four picks?
I had trouble picking the Wisconsin-Tennessee game. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're good. You're good. I did remember the fan bases: Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas Tech.
Who do you have winning it?
I have Kansas and Kentucky in the finals, and then Kentucky winning it.
Kentucky. All right. Me and you on those Wildcats, baby. Listen, yep. I cannot wait for this tournament to start. For people that are still here, remember, T.O. and I are going to be joined by Randolph Childress at the Rivers Casino in Philadelphia on Thursday and Friday. We're going to be doing live shows all day from the sports book at the Rivers Casino. That is, of course, a Bet Rivers property. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be watching the games, putting down some wagers. I can promise you I will be putting down some wagers on games, probably on the craps table as well. T.O., I don't know if you're a craps guy, but it's a little bit of fun. So we'll make it work. We're going to have a good time. Listen, we're going to come back to you guys again next Monday. The field is going to be down to 16 teams by the time that you hear from us next. So for John Fanta, for Terrence Oglesby, my name is Rob Dauster. This has been the DTF Podcast.